Another major story we're tracking this morning. There's a steady stream of tributes for Lisa Marie Presley as the world comes to terms with her sudden passing. Nine US correspondent Alison Petrowski joins us now from Hollywood. Ali, you have some new details about her funeral.
Yeah, that's right. Many had suspected she would be buried at Graceland alongside her father and her daughter, Riley Keough, a spokesperson for her daughter, confirming that, yes, that will happen. Lisa Marie will be buried alongside Elvis and alongside other family members of Elvis, including Elvis's parents, Vernon and Gladys, and also his great-grandmother, Minnie Mae, and Lisa Marie's son, Benjamin, who tragically, Jane, took his own life in 2020, aged 27. At the time of her death yesterday, Lisa Marie was the sole owner of Graceland, and we saw her there just last weekend, surrounded by hundreds of fans, marking what would have been her father's 88th birthday. Lisa Marie Presley certainly lived her entire life in the spotlight, including many high-profile relationships, including her marriages to pop star Michael Jackson and actor Nicolas Cage, who she was married to briefly in 2002. Nicolas Cage has released a statement this morning about her passing, saying, "This is devastating news. Lisa had the greatest laugh of anyone I ever met. She lit up every room and I am heartbroken. I find some solace believing she is reunited with her son Benjamin." Another ex-husband, Michael Lockwood, who is actually the father of Lisa Marie's two twin daughters, Finley and Harper, his lawyer releasing a statement on his behalf today saying that Michael had been hoping for a speedy and complete recovery because her children needed her. It is very sad that it didn't turn out that way. And look, Jane, many from the industry are adding thoughts to the tributes, including Tom Hanks, who played Colonel Tom Parker in the Elvis biopic. He took to Instagram on behalf of himself and his wife Rita, saying, "We are heartbroken over the loss of Lisa Marie, absolutely broken." So Hollywood's still very raw, Jane, today, as many tribute and remember the life of Lisa Marie Presley.
OK, let's bring in Richard Wilkins for his reaction. Good morning to you, Dickie.
Yeah, good morning, Clint.
Sad, shocking, because we saw her at the Golden Globes just a few days back.
Yeah, it's incredible to think just 3 days ago that she would have been getting hair and makeup right now, getting ready to, you know, hit the carpet and head off to the Golden Globe Awards. She was, of course, front and centre on Baz Luhrmann's table with her mum and Austin Butler and all the connections of the movie that saw Austin Butler receive a Golden Globe Award for playing the great Elvis Presley. And, you know, now she's gone. She did look a little unsteady on her feet in hindsight. She wasn't a picture of health, but we know she's battled all manner of things over her years, but certainly no one, I don't think, saw this coming.
No. And she was obviously, as the only child of Elvis, born into fame, but with that sort of position must come so much pressure and external influences.
Yeah.
There were so many complications in her life.
Yeah, well, you know, her dad was probably the most famous person on the planet when she was born, and then, of course, when she was 9, he passed away, and, you know, growing up into that sort of thing, it wasn't easy. She went to live with her mum after they split up in California and went to school. She, you know, messed around with drugs and whatnot and dabbled with Scientology. She looked for ways, obviously, to deal with the pain that she encountered along the way. Her only son, took his own life, which is an unimaginable thing to go through. She had 4 marriages, strange marriages, it has to be said too. You know, Michael Jackson, she was very defiant, defending Jackson against the charges that were starting to head his way at that time about what may or may not have happened at Neverland. But yeah, they were together for some time. Then she married Nicolas Cage. They were only together for 100 or so days, but she described that marriage as she was just another Elvis souvenir to him, which, you know, he's obviously said some nice things today about her. Devastating news. It is devastating to him, but yeah, 4 marriages. The last one, which was not finalised, but the twin daughters had to be put in protective custody at one stage. So, you know, there was a lot of trouble along the way for her. And there were rumours, I don't know, I mean, she inherited Graceland,
yes,
which was worth $100 million at the time. There were rumours circulating, I don't know how true they are, of financial problems at the time of her passing as well. So a troubled life, but, you know, she was a talented artist. I met her a few times and interviewed her about her 3 albums. And she had a lot of talent, but just never managed to get out of that shadow of her late dad.
Nine US correspondent Alison Petrowski is in Hollywood for us. Ali, the world still very much in shock.
Yeah, that's right, Jane. And we have seen many fans gathering outside Graceland, wanting to go somewhere to pay tribute to Lisa Marie Presley's life. And the news, as you said, coming in this morning, confirmation that she will be buried there alongside the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, as well as alongside his parents, Vernon and Gladys, and also his grandmother, Minnie May, and Lisa Marie's son, Benjamin, who tragically took his own life in 2020, aged just 27. At the time of her death yesterday, Lisa Marie Presley was the sole owner of Graceland, and she would visit there every year to mark her father's birthday. In fact, we saw her there last weekend, marking what would have been his 88th birthday, surrounded by hundreds of fans at the time. And she spoke about how she loved that place and how it was really special to her. She certainly, Jane, lived her life in the public spotlight, including her many marriages and divorces, including to pop star Michael Jackson and also to Nicolas Cage, the actor who she married briefly in 2002. Nicolas Cage releasing a statement in tribute this morning saying, "She lit up every room and I am heartbroken. I find some solace believing she is reunited with her son Benjamin." From Lisa Marie's ex-husband Michael Lockwood, who is the father of her two twin daughters, Finley and Harper, a statement through his lawyer said that Michael had been hoping for a speedy and complete recovery because her children needed her. It is very sad that it didn't turn out that way. Tributes too coming in from plenty in Hollywood, including Tom Hanks, who played Colonel Tom Parker in the Elvis biopic. He's taken to Instagram to say, "We are heartbroken over the loss of Lisa Marie Presley, absolutely broken." And Baz Luhrmann too, the director of the Elvis biopic, saying that he had been embraced by Lisa Marie and her family and that he is devastated. So plenty of reaction out of Hollywood as everyone digests the news and remembers the life of Lisa Marie Presley.
For more, let's bring in entertainment reporter Sam Rubin in Los Angeles. Good morning to you, Sam. This is such sudden and tragic news. Are we learning anything new about how this happened?
Extraordinarily sudden, Jane, and I think one reason why this has resonated so much here in Hollywood and elsewhere around the world is, as you indicated, just 2 days before she died, less than 48 hours, at the Golden Globes, Austin Butler giving a very, very emotional speech, he winning a Golden Globe for his portrayal of her father, Elvis Presley, and he thanked by name both Priscilla and Lisa Marie. The camera took a shot of them, acknowledging, wiping tears from their eyes. They were very moved by his remarks. Earlier, this video, which had not been widely seen on Tuesday night, showed Lisa Marie, who seemed not in the best of health, had trouble getting up on that podium. Her speech seemed a little stilted and halted. Anyway, as you've heard the press reports, the only thing that we know is verification of what we had heard initially on what turned out to be that fatal Friday. A heart attack at home, found by a housekeeper, a domestic employee. Former husband, Danny Kehoe, came home almost immediately, started to administer CPR. Paramedics arrived very quickly, they too administering CPR, then an injection, which appeared to have restarted her heart, then to West Hills Medical Center, where, and again, everything I'm discussing was reported here in Hollywood and elsewhere in real time. So medical emergencies that people watching the show experienced in their own lives, this was almost universally experienced. To the hospital, where she was put into a medically induced coma, quote unquote, fighting for her life, a battle she did not win. So it was really a shock and remains a shock. I think people here it's the tweet that Bette Midler sent out. Just can't believe it. It's very hard to wrap their arms around it.
Yeah, it sure is. We know Marie was only 9 when her father Elvis died from a heart attack. That must have weighed on her entire life to go through something like that, so devastating, so public and so young.
I tell you what, one thing we've been talking about a lot here is there a heavier last name? Obviously, the Presley name is known globally, and not only witnessing her father's death, but just a few years ago, and I think in a way this is a lasting legacy for Lisa Marie, her own son Benjamin taking his own life. And what Lisa did was publish a piece in People magazine that was widely discussed about, number one, coping with grief, number two, talking about suicide, and the fact that I think sometimes, and I'm paraphrasing what Lisa Marie said, people are like, well, gee, if that happens to a young person, it must have something to do with the parenting. And Lisa Marie says, no, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the parenting at all. So she brought up a topic that people are very reticent to bring up. And I think had a lot of admirers there. Some other sort of tabloidy aspects of her life, the marriage briefly to Nicolas Cage, the marriage to Michael Jackson that she described as intoxicating. And of course, several stints, 5 by her own admission, in drug rehab. She had a short life and a life with a lot of ups and a lot of downs.
And Sam, I know I mustn't be the only one this morning who's thinking about Priscilla Presley too, surviving not only Elvis, her own grandson, and now her own daughter. Do we know anything about how she's feeling, who she has around her?
That's a very good question, Jane, and I don't know the specific answer to that. I don't think she lives a lonely life. I think she has family and friends to provide support, but an extraordinary amount of support is needed. And then I don't know, we've already heard that Lisa Marie will be buried at Graceland, a property that she owned for a considerable period of time herself, that her father gave to her. I'm not certain who's with with Priscilla as we speak. The next, I think, kind of public outpouring could take place. There's an award show Sunday night here in Hollywood, the Critics' Choice Awards. Austin Butler, the man who played Elvis, is a nominee. Both he, Baz Luhrmann, also a nominee. Both at this moment expected to attend. Their attendance status may change. But if they attend, and certainly if Austin Butler wins, I think this will be addressed from the stage in what could be a very, very emotional moment.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Sam. And look, we are also hearing, you just mentioned that Lisa Marie will be laid to rest alongside her father.
Right. She always spoke of her, and I think sometimes, I think this is true with talented people. It really is in the blood. And a lot of people now are recalling the 3 albums that Lisa Marie made, 2 of which received extraordinarily good reviews. And other singers, Leanne Rimes comes to mind, in the social media are talking about what a good singer Lisa Marie was, and how, I don't know if it's channeling her father or it's, sharing genetic traits with her father, but she's been very, very much mourned and remembered by the music community, who respected her not just as a legacy, but as a peer.
Yeah, well, everybody is remembering her this morning. Thank you, Sam Rubin.